Welcome back to Stationeers. And before we get on with the rest of today's episode, well, something more important for you guys. Let's select a random commenter, shall we? Okay, so Black Mensa X13, I'll be in contact with you shortly. You have won the game giveaway. Anything up to 30 quid on Steam, or $40, whatever you prefer on your particular side of things. And yeah, congratulations. Let's just get that out of the way. Must remember not to remove that window. And, otherwise I'll forget that name. And yeah, that's pretty good. So what are we going to work on today? Today, I think we're going to have to solve the problem of this cold tank, which isn't cold anymore because it's out in the sun all the time. So I am going to just be able to seal that in. And I think we need to replace this mechanism. It's okay-ish. That's 92%. But it's certainly not high enough to keep this cold tank supplied with enough to keep everything nice and warm, nice and cold in there, I should say. So we have to do a few things for that. Not terribly very much. In fact, the first thing we can do is actually just weld up these walls. That won't take any time at all. I may have to, unweld them again afterwards, but just something we can enclose. And I've got some circuitry on that wall, haven't I? So what I think we may do, given that we've seen that the wall cooler is just incredibly overpowered, by comparison to other methods, I think what I may do is put some wall coolers on the sides and top of that, just above the tank. Should we open that tank up even more? Well, we need to pressurize that space, that much is for certain. And the usual easiest way of doing that is to, again, put some kind of passive vent on there, or controlled passive vent, just like we have with our heating room. We just want a similar way, but to chill that room down and keep that gas quite cold. When it mixes with the pollutant that's going to be part of the cooling system for this, we need it to be cold to take away all that heat or once it mixes together. So, do I have enough on me to actually do this? It's going to need wall coolers and... move them. No, I haven't. Oh, I need to move them. Otherwise, I'll be retrieving stuff between the... yeah, we're going to have to move those first. Let's just see where we can put them. Sort of here seems okay. We have got... I've just turned all this off for now, just while I was recharging. But we have got a nice power line here to do stuff with, so... let's just do that, shall we? Grab one or two. And we've got the remains of a previous incarnation of work here. I think that's the electronic control for... yes, it is. Yeah. Electronic control for just the gas side of things over here. And 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm playing the new Path of Exile League and I forgot to turn off some of my alerts. Yeah, so if you're playing Path of Exile, enjoy. Whole new league. Pretty nice. And let's just grab that as well. For now, we'll just put that back straight and put this away. There we go. And there's a few pieces here we can do without now. Don't need them anymore. You in particular... yeah, we can just get rid of that. Save a little bit of cable coil, but not very much. And then maybe if we run them in lines off here, I sort of want to maybe point the control towards me now. So input is on this left side whenever we get our furnace output or some kind of buffer mechanism, and output on the right hand side, and that seems nice. I will be moving this locker, so there will be plenty of space. I just need to obviously make that clear. So let's just see. Have I put... oh, I've not put frames down everywhere. I always forget to do that. And we do need to remember doing that. There's only 2 minutes. Oh no, there's more. Okay. How many frames did I forget? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, not terribly many, but still bad enough. 1 second, I'll put those frames down and we'll get these machines moved so that I can start making other stuff. Okay, so our machines are now moved. Look quite nice where they are. No more wire going up and over and all that kind of stuff. And of course, this space is now empty. I've left a cable in there because it goes onto the inside. We can rework it later. And I've printed off 6 wall coolers now. I'm not sure exactly how many this will need. I don't think we're going to even need this many, to be honest. But it may well be just worthwhile having enough of those around. So we want, will it let me put one there? Yes, it will. Good. So we can fit them on either sides. And one more. That means we're going to need power cable underneath them. This is going to be a cold room, not a hot one. So we don't need to worry about heavy cable at all, hopefully. I always say that, but then we get problems. I may have to go around back to sort this out, but let's assume for the moment we're going to just run cable this way with junctions. And here we are around the back. I think I'm going to tie them into the same line as we have here, so that'll be quite a quick change. Let's put a junction in and some straight cable here. So we've got 2 sides. We're going to have to run sort of a pipe upwards, but that's not going to be much of an issue at all. Let's just get a corner in. Do we have enough room there? Not quite, but let's just run a junction. And then we'll just change this over for a 4-way junction. That should, well, sorry, a junction going the other way. There we go. And then that should suit just fine. There we go. And then just a straight across this and through this pipe. It'd be nice if there was some kind of extra model that you get there when you pass through a pipe like that. It seems a little bit odd otherwise, but yeah, it works, you know, either way. And let's get rid of that junction and put one in this way. A corner and a last corner. There we go. All right, so we've now got a way to cool this tank, or at least the environment around this tank. As far as doing the tank itself, the easiest thing I can think of is if we can close this and just put a passive vent off this, well, anywhere inside this block really, then it should pressurize, but we may not be able to have a window into it if we do that, because it could be quite well, let's close it off, I think. Yeah, because I don't mind putting blocks. As long as we put a sensor in here, we can tell what's inside from outside. And in fact, we can even read off the tank right there. So we should probably make sure that data port is actually connected before we do anything else, because that'll tell us a great deal. So the data ports just need to come straight out pretty much. Let's on that way. Very hard to get maneuver in here sometimes. There we go. We want a corner and a junction. Okay, so we should be able to read the tank now. If we put a passive vent on the inside here, it will pretty much be the same pressure as the tank. I don't think there's need to be any. I think we can just read off the tank. I don't think we need a separate sensor. Okay, let's give that a try then. So we need to back out of here, and I need to be able to control these remotely. So what I might do is just get a power controller and just put all of this on a separate network from there on, well, not there onwards, from here onwards or something like that. And then we can read it. I can pull the cable out somewhere and we can read that. So let me just go and print that off, and we'll get that bit sorted out. Okay, so we set up a usual temperature control system here. I'm reading in the small tank's temperature. It's currently 261 because it's broadly similar to the outside night air. And I've set 150 here, so that's 150 Kelvin. So then we just need to compare the two. So now I just need to grab my screwdriver. So we're comparing if the this logic reader is less than, greater than. Is it greater than? Is it greater? Yes, it is going to be greater than the memory unit. Okay, so is the temperature higher than 150? If so, press 1 essentially, and 1 we're going to take in from the compare, and we're going to write that out to the wall coolers and to the on state. Okay, so I'll turn that on. Are they doing anything? They should be right into the wall coolers on state. Do I have them all connected? They should be connected. Am I doing something stupid? Usually I am. 1 second. Ah yeah, I just forgot to actually change this to on. So now it's going to try and turn them on. They're not going to be able to do anything just at the moment, so we can just turn this off until they're ready, and we can switch them all off manually if we wanted to. There we go. Just while we finish off the rest of this build. And now that is pretty much fine. They're going to basically drop the temperature of this room to whatever we want them to. In this case, less than 150 Kelvin. So now we just need to pressurize this room a little bit. So I'm just going to grab a couple of tools, grab my welder and some plates, and then we can close this off. Once I get a passive vent, and I think we're going to have to be a bit careful about doing this because I'm going to need to access that passive vent somehow. Maybe a digital valve, possibly. Interesting. Where am I going to put it? I think I'm going to put it up there on top and change this into a T-junction. Immediately, however, that will lose whatever's in this tank, but that's okay. We don't care that much about what's in the tank at the moment, because we're going to be later making that much better than it is at the moment. So, what was I going to do? Let's actually not weld up for a second, and I want a passive vent, don't I? Do I have any printed? I'm not sure if I do. Let's go and take a quick look. I've got an active vent. I don't want an active one as such. I mean, we could use one, but that wouldn't let it passively balance. So, all right, let's print one off. Passive vent. Use one iron, and the iron is in here somewhere. There we go. Okay, so we've got some iron. Let's just print one off. Do I have any pipe? I do have a few pipe. That'll do for the cooling room. There we go. And we'll just attach this to the ceiling, and then just one pipe later. It should solve the problem. But we are going to need to enclose it before I connect that last bit of pipe up, because it will immediately start depressurizing. Let's just get this so that it'll actually attach to something. There we go, and rotate it around. Alright, so that's nearly ready. Now we can mostly weld up, apart from this last block space I'm stood in. So I need to get another steel frame for the front, and then we should be okay. 1 second. Okay, most of it is now actually done. We just need to attach pipes to those wall coolers, just to make things work. So that shouldn't take much at all. And we're going to need another passive vent, aren't we? Because we're going to need... no, not passive vent. Radiators, sorry. My mistake. So the radiators are going to have to go on top somewhere. Do they need steel? Or is iron? Pipe radiators. Pipe radiators. I can never remember where they are in here. There we are. Golden steel. Okay, I'll probably rob the ones from the supercooling room over there, just while I'm using solar power at the moment. I thought I'd take a break from further optimizing that thing. I don't want to do too many of the same thing in at once, otherwise it will probably bore people. So while I was thinking about more ideas about it. In any case, you won't have kicked on yet, so we need to just head over here, depressurize this for a second. And where are you? Where's my stack? There they are. Okay, so now we just need to pipe stuff from here. Probably, I want to say, let's put a corner. Yeah, let's put a corner on those T-junctions on these. Like that. Same thing here. And a corner. And then we just need to join the two, and then we'll send it up to the ceiling, which will be straightforward. So we're just going to put them onto a pipe on the roof, and then we'll exhaust the heat that way. One more T-junction, a straight piece, and that should be it. Yeah, of course. I'm almost two pipes short every time I try. I'll do that off camera, and then we'll close the room and you can see how it works. Okay, so just a few pieces of pipe on the roof for now. Let's put these radiators in place. No, it's turned the wrong way, that's why. It's only... There we go. 1, 2, 3. And then let's just close this this room off. Be for a second. Let's just grab our welding equipment. And that should be done, I think. Let's see how well that goes, because it should already start cooling it pretty soon. And the wall coolers will turn on and off at first because they'll be keeping the whole thing cool. And it'll keep dropping below the actual pressure they can work with. So don't worry too much if they don't appear to be doing everything you expect. There we go. So it's at minus 30. You'll see the pressure's low, and that's why it's not decreasing any lower than that. Minus 30 is only about 240 Kelvin, so it will be kept cooler. Of course, at the moment it's even cooler than that because it's nighttime, not daytime, and that's fine. So what are we going to do with that? Well, it occurs to me that this is slow, and I'm going to need, probably if I want to pressurize the base, I'm going to need a lot of atmosphere to be fed in. Carbon dioxide, certainly, but also, more importantly, like the nitrogen and stuff like that. Where's my tablet gone? Let's grab that. So let's look at the atmosphere. So there is some nitrogen there, there is some oxygen there, and there's some pollutant. So if we build something that can draw in a huge amount more than we have been doing, then that should be better as an input instead of just this, which is just feeding in from one passive vent. Now, I say traditional because the game's not been out that long, but traditional way I've seen of this being done is largely like an atmospheric tower. The idea behind this is you build a large tower, just like these blocks we have here, going straight up, and we're going to be feeding it straight into atmospherics. So it could be going straight up from, say, wherever the input is. We won't need the temperature system, so it can feed in around about here. You know, we could extend one of these straight up. And the idea is you take a block tower like this, and you have 4 spaces on the outside. This block, this side, this one, and the one that's currently blocked. So, you know, obviously it will have one other than that. But of course, we won't be starting that inside the base. It has to be outside the base. Where does that come from? Yeah, okay. I don't even have pockets to store it in. In any case, you wait until you're outside the base. So let's say our base roof is here. It'll be higher in future, but we can just move the system up. And you build a block. Do I have a block on me? I have one. Yeah, this one will just magically... what? Oh, that's not what I wanted to build. No. There we go. Okay, build a frame. There we go. So we have a tower like this. We'll build it 5 or 6 high, and on each of the side faces we'll put an active vent, not a passive vent, and we'll set them all to pull inward. In the center or down one of the edges, it doesn't really much matter. Center will just keep it nice and chilled. Well, chilling doesn't really much matter anymore because of the daytime variation. But we'll pull it all the way down through the tower, down into the base, and then into atmospherics, and that will just be on constantly. We're not even going to worry about using any kind of filtering because we already have a filtering system. It's right here. This will turn on, remember, when the pressure gets high enough for it to turn on. So we can be really quite confident about this working, apart from that eventually these filters will run out. And if I put this tower in place, they will start running out sooner. So the other alternative I could think of is to pull in from the atmosphere, but to a buffer tank before we get to this system. And then, you know, at regular intervals or something while I'm around, I can open a valve. This system will draw everything into main atmospherics and we'll get on with that. Do let me know, and there's sort of some argument over whether these filters last a certain amount of time or a certain amount of moles that they process. I'm still assuming moles at this case, which means it shouldn't matter either way, if that's the case, because we can have it running constantly. We don't need a buffer tank. I'm going to assume that, but in next episode, if you know contrary to that, if it only lasts a certain amount of time, we want to maximize the amount of gas we push through these when these are on. So we want a buffer tank in that case if they're time-based, not mole-based. Someone let me know in the comments. I can look on the wiki as well and see what that actually brings up. We can, of course, build heavy filters now, or we can turn the the larger heating room on and prepare for making alloys quite easily. We don't need any fuel to do that. And that will be a good one to make heavy filters for those, I think. I think I'm going to need to now move that locker. It's getting in the way. It's annoying me a little bit. Because I also want to move this. I don't use it very often, but the tool manufacturer is useful for some things. Is there anything else in here? I could do with building a new suit, couldn't I? Because I've been nearly killing myself flying around by jetpack, doing the Iron Man approach to base building. Is there anything else in here? I probably kind of want this the spray paint at some point, but other than that, that's not going to be okay. Yeah, we'll leave that alone for now. Now, will that take? Let's take iron. Okay. So now we've got this room that is cold. It hopefully should be much better at keeping this side of things cold, which means once it starts to pressurize, we can look out for this here and see how cold it is. Minus 36. Okay, pipe network, sorry, minus 60. Okay, what's minus 60? That's 210 Kelvin. So it's getting better, but it's not cool things yet. And we haven't turned this on, so this is still pressurizing. Unfortunately, it's pressurizing from that weedy little filtration unit. So the next thing we're going to do, probably next episode, is build a tower into atmospherics and then cut this off from here. And then I don't think we even need the filtration anymore, because the filter that we absolutely have to keep is this one here. And this filters pollutants, but everything else gets returned to the hot tank in here. And that is not very high pressure at the moment. So we could return it to the hot tank, and we can put the filter on this side of things if we wanted to. Move it from over there to over here, and maybe we want to keep this hot tank as carbon dioxide. I don't think we even need to. We're not going to auto-combust anything because the atmosphere doesn't contain any hydrogen. It only contains pollutant and oxygen, so we can't auto-combust it. So we don't need any filtration at all. All we need to do is change this to be pulled from main atmospherics, and then we'll have some kind of control on it pulling that, because it might get a bit annoying otherwise. But that main atmospherics then will get pulled into this temporary tank, which will get chilled. The chilled tank can then be used to recool everything, and our hydroponics will be not lethal temperatures whenever I step in there. I really must put a gauge on the wall or something. And I did get a good suggestion from all of you guys about how we might want to indicate when a filter's out. I might not be able to fit them here, but there is a specific kind of light, essentially, that allows me to say red, green, and show what the problem is. And although I'm out of time for this episode, I hope you get the idea here. I've just put a couple of these in place, and then we'll just be putting like a four-way junction in the middle. Well, not 4-way. It'll actually have to be 6-way because we need to go feed downwards and around. So this is going to need, if I want to build it like this, I'm going to need 4 12s, 14 more active vents and a lot more pipe. And then we can feed it all the way down here. And then we can probably connect it with this pipe. No, that's actually shut off. I actually want to feed it from inside the base maybe. So power down there, maybe up on the inside. And again, a lot more cable coil as well, because each one of these needs connecting, which means all 4 sides need connecting, etc, etc. And then, of course, we can probably make it look a little bit nicer just by using kit walls or something along those sort of lines. But eventually we'll have a pipe that comes down through the center, underneath here, and probably right here, I'd say. Something like that. Looks good to me, but of course it's over to you guys to comment on what you think. Oh, so ignore the ugly block. Ignore the ugly block, it's fine. I'll just put more ugly blocks around it and then it'll look flat, don't worry. So let me know in the comments what you think, and feel free to like, subscribe, share as normal for this. Congratulations once again to the person whose name I've already forgotten. I'm so sorry. Black Mensa 13 in Roman numerals. I will be contacting you shortly, and if you are watching this and I haven't contacted you yet, then just send me a channel message and I'll get your Steam name from there and send you whichever game you choose. So yeah, congratulations. Thanks a lot everyone, and as always, thanks for watching.